So and just take a look at what kind of results happened those weekend, and that's something that as a Chelsea fan, I'm just lucky, and we are lucky to have Manchester United the way that they are playing and managed rather have that. But again, no pun intended talk, but talk like I heard on a few channels, I think on Rich Sports and a couple other channels as well, that basically there was probably one or two kind of refereeing decisions again being question marks, but surely I think Villa kind of deserved it, right? I didn't watch every minute of the game, I watched the highlights only, but talk, what do you reckon? Like, Villa deserved that win at Old Trafford finally?
Yeah, of course they did. Of course they did. I'd never argue a decent performance by opposition. They deserved to win the game. We just weren't good enough. Harry Maguire was very lucky, in my opinion, to not give a. In fact, he may well have got he might have got a red. If you look at the challenger and the position on his pit on the pitch, I was watching it. I was like, oh my god, what's he done there? And I was waiting for the ref to pull the whistle out and stuff, and he didn't. I'm like, all right, we've got away with it. That's great, but. In terms of the whole game itself, look, listen, if you can't dominate the midfield and set the tempo at home, then you're going to have problems against a team like Villa. We gave them the confidence as the game grew because we was offering them nothing. We were, Mason Greenwood, listen, is a fantastic prospect and a great kid. I love him, but he's going to have to learn quickly from that performance because you cannot be trying to put balls in from the angles when there's other options available. Simple as that. Got to learn to release the ball, just release the ball to somebody else who's in a better position. And we've seen it. There's a couple of occasions where we should have done that. But yeah, overall, I think Villa, Villa, they deserve to take the points. As simple as that.
Interesting. Having said that, about Villareal, right? And then from what I know, Villarreal, they are the draw merchants of the sport, as with, of course, Good Evening Man. He's definitely one of them, right? Who goes very defensive. He's certainly someone who I think is missing Gerard Moreno, the only probably goal scorer he has. So he'll set up even more defensively. I know Villarreal have dropped a lot of points in La Liga, but technically they are still unbeaten. So that's something to look out for. Talking about Manchester United, I think they are missing. Luke Shaw got injured, if I'm not wrong, as well as I think Maguire got a slight calf injury or a pull. That's what I heard. So I think those are two possible misses for Manchester United. So I know Van Bissaka, after that red card against Young Boys, is definitely suspended. So how do you see tackling Villarreal? And what will be the weapon that you'd use and the approach?
Well, firstly, we don't want to be playing the two sitting midfielders. Definitely, you can't do that. Definitely not. They're going to be, like you said, they're going to just sit there and say, okay, well, listen, we played you before. We beat you in the final. You come and try your hardest. But we are at the first opportunity, we will come and have a go ourselves at getting on the break. But you know what? If we just play the one, I would say Matic alongside Pogba. That's the midfield there for me. And then obviously, people. I mean, I've got a lot of Man United fans saying 4-4-2. Now the 4-4-2, in my opinion, the only way that would work is if we went to diamond. But then when I say that, I've got some Man United fans who say, no, that can't work. That can't work. I'm like, well, tell me why it can't work then. Tell me why. We've got two of the most lethal strikers in world football. All right, I know they're aging, but they're still lethal strikers. You've got a player in Donny van der Beek who's not really. When he's come on, he's shown that I say his metronome ticks faster than everybody else's because of his movement, his understanding. He works the space exceptionally well. So for me, that four in the midfield and a diamond could actually work. If you had like a Matic at the base, Pogba, Bruno, Donny van der Beek, and then the two, and obviously on the wing, for the wing backs, you call them wing backs, wingers, whatever you want to call them, but obviously we'd have to go for the more attacking options. So, but even then, I think with Varane and Mates, we're probably going to Varane and Lindelof if Maguire in fit, then I still think we've got enough there to dominate that midfield and have enough in Matic to really sort of snuff them out if they do get a break on us, So I think that's that kind of setup. I would love to see him be brave and do that. Whether he will, I don't think so. He'll probably stick with a 4-2-3-1. But like I say, in the two, I want him to not have two, the Fred and McTominay. I want him to go Pogba and Matic, and have Matic as the holding player, and giving Pogba free reign to get in amongst the midfield and try and dictate the pace of the game.
But still, like, you're well placed in Group F. I think Group F obviously helped that, Villarreal kind of drew their game against Atalanta the last game, right? So I think a win will probably not get Man United back on track. That's what I personally feel. And just while I also agree that a Man United win is, great, or a draw even, as in that will be Ole in for the timing at least. So as rival fans, we would kind of want that, to be very honest. Again, no pun intended, but definitely it is. Moving on to Michael, talk briefly mentioned about Liverpool. As in, it's a group of death, right? Let's get it right. Definitely, I think Group B is a group of death. But Liverpool did great in that first game against AC Milan, but it's Porto away, if I'm not wrong. And I think Porto have a few bright players for sure, like, which could surprise Liverpool. I know you had Marco Grujic, who was at Liverpool previously. He plays at Porto, and hopefully, I think he'll probably start as well, in my opinion. And I think if Pepe is fit, I think that's a kind of weapon Porto have physically, just that physical danger that Liverpool have, right? And that's something that you need to look out for. And Taremi, I think Taremi is someone who scored, I think, a brilliant goal, but not just that. I think in the previous match against Atletico Madrid, he was really unlucky, like that we covered in the previous stream. So as in, those are some great players. Oliveira is a great player. So as in, do you see Liverpool's defense, changing, something that Klopp will go with that will probably surprise Porto, because Liverpool have been leaking? I know the Brentford game is something that we didn't speak about, but what do you reckon the defense will be like?
That Brentford game is still hurting me a lot, because we should have won that game, but Mo Salah missed the chance. But for the Porto game, it's difficult really, because when we've gone away to Porto the last two times, we've been in the 5-1 and 4-0. So we've absolutely destroyed them the last two times. But I've been telling this to Liverpool fans and some of my friends that, like, this is a completely different Porto squad that now have Taremi, who just talked about, the Iranian striker, who, if you guys have seen a video over the weekend, he scored from 50 yards out. He chipped the goalkeeper from 50 yards. So he's on good form. Then their tricky Colombian winger, Luis Diaz, who had a fantastic Copa America. And then him against Trent. This Trent guy and his defending is just, I've been saying it for years. This guy can't defend, and he still can't. Even though, like, for the third goal against Brentford, it wasn't really his fault. He was like 3-on-1 against all the Brentford players. And what is he supposed to do? Like, he can't cover all of the players at the back post. And I kind of felt bad that they were definitely targeting Trent for Brentford. And they saw that he was the weakness in the squad. So that's what I'm kind of worried about, is that both teams continue to do that. They're going to look at Trent as the weakness. And let's see then if teams continue to do that. And for Porto, I mean, they have really good players. Pepe, Sergio Oliveira, Grujic. He might come back and bite us in the butt, really, after we sold him for 15 million. And then Taremi, of course. So they have a lot of good players, Porto. And I'm not like worried, but I think this is going to be a 1-goal game. Liverpool should win it, because we definitely have more quality. Maybe bring in Konate. Maybe he usually likes to rest Van Dijk, because he rested Van Dijk against AC Milan, and he's going to look also to the Man City game on the weekend, another big game for Liverpool. So, yeah, it's a very tricky game for Liverpool. I don't think we should take this lightly whatsoever, or we might lose this game, because Porto have started the Primeira Liga very well in Portugal. So, yeah. Very, very tough game to say.
Coming to the other game, Taron, again, people in the chat, especially Chelsea fans, I know will be following AC Milan very closely this season. With Giroud, with Tomori being there, I think AC Milan can surprise Atletico for sure, right? I know Bakayoko, the Chelsea legend, is injured. Again, no taunt there, but I think Bakayoko definitely doesn't start anyway for me. But I think Giroud against Atletico Madrid, definitely, I think a memory kind of serves right. He got that, goal of the season kind of, bicycle kick. So hopefully he'll have that against Atletico. And I don't know, Atletico, the attack they have, I know they don't attack much, but Suarez and co, like, you think Tomori and I think I'm not sure if Simon Kjaer is fit 100%, but I'm not sure if they could really resist that kind of attack as well. Like, what do you see happening, Taron, in that game?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great game. That group is, for me, one of the best groups in the whole competition in terms of quality. I think people are kind of underestimating Porto a lot, but when we played Porto last season, they gave us a great game over 2 legs, even though they were kind of in a neutral venue. It was just like, what was it, 2-1 on aggregate or something like that. So yeah, I mean, it was a great game, and both of them. So Porto, I think, underestimated. But for this game, I think AC Milan, after the first kind of half an hour, first of all, I'd like to say Liverpool are definitely one of my favourite teams to watch as a Chelsea fan. I love the way they press. I love the way they play on the front foot. I love their possession, the way they recycle it. And I think AC Milan, after the first 80 minutes, I thought it could be 3-4-0 with the amount of chances that are being created, the complete surges and bombardment at their kind of 18-yard box. I really thought it could be curtains, but what happened? They came back with great kind of, resilience and everything. But just before the second half, Brahim Diaz and Ante Rebic did really, really well to do that. But then, obviously, they lost the game in the end. The defending, for me, still for AC Milan is an issue. I think Tomori, we know in the future he's going to be a top defender, a top-class defender, but there is still flaws in his game in terms of reading of the game, positioning, stuff like that, where he does get a bit carried away. He loves to step out of defence. He loves to be aggressive and man-mark players. When he does that, it leaves a bit of space for behind Simon Kjaer that can be exploited. So, for me, AC Milan still look very, very, I'd say, not great defensively, but going forward, I think they're absolutely fluid and superb. Brahim Diaz playing at Man City, I didn't really see much of him, maybe in the League Cup a few times. But AC Milan becoming the new number 10, I think he's been great this season. And Ante Rebic, we know from the World Cup, their goal against Argentina, the caviar kind of bully. But yeah, I think he's absolutely superb as well. And the rest of the team really, really impressed me. Atletico Madrid, I mean, for me, it does seem like Simeone and Atletico Madrid, again, a bit stale now. I think it's fair to say that. I don't know if people agree with me in the chat. Yes, they won the Liga last season. Real Madrid were nowhere near how good they can be. Barcelona were nowhere near as good as they could be. So I think that title win was not as great as it could have been. And I just think the tactics, everything, their goals, they're not scoring as many goals. Luis Suarez is not having as great a season as he did last season. Joao Felix is not having as great a season as he did last season. And yeah, I just think Atletico Madrid are becoming more and more stale under Simeone. He's been at the club for, I think, it's near to 9-8 years. It could be even more. Michael probably know the exact probably number, something along those kind of brackets. But yeah, I think Simeone and Atletico are not really great for me right now. So I think AC Milan will probably win the game. I think it'll be tight, maybe 1 or 2-0. Atletico Madrid, I don't really expect them to score the goal, score a goal in the game. I reckon a goal from Brahim Diaz again might be the setter in the game, but very, very tight. Atletico Madrid, sitting back in their low block as usual, and AC Milan maybe just nicking one just behind the half spaces.
Interesting. Certainly, for a neutral, definitely we would love to see AC Milan win here, and that'll really, make the group really interesting for me. Like Atletico going great guns in the return, against Liverpool again. Michael won't be happy me saying that, but that's something like a neutral. And of course, I have soft corner for AC Milan as well. Like I said, previously before the stream, I was a huge Shevchenko fan as well as Kaká fan. As in people all. Sharing something personal, but yes, people kind of called me Kaká in my school days, but yeah, that's how it was, right? But now the big game, like PSG versus Man City after the Chelsea game, that is. So PSG Man City, it's a huge game on paper, but Michael, I know, as in worldwide, I think Messi has been criticized over the last week or so for the way he's taken, a game at PSG in France, But for me, again, someone who's kind of watched Messi over the years, I have to definitely, point it out on the channel that, this is someone who is, I know, the GOAT, but has moved countries, I think, first time, ever almost, right? It's a new thing for him as well. He's human after all, and it's Pochettino, as we all know, what Pochettino is capable of and what he's not capable of. I don't know about his man management skills. That's something that I don't know as an experienced player, an ego clash maybe there. I know he was subbed a couple of times, but again, it might be an injury. Maybe he's not 100% fit. So, Michael, where are you at this Messi, debate? I think you think Messi will probably, it's just a form, right? He'll probably come back to what he is, right, in Champions League.
Yeah, I think it's just form. This is the first time he's moved to a new country and lived in a new country since 13 when he moved from Argentina to Barcelona. I think it just takes a little bit of time, and obviously getting used to new teammates as well. And it's just a matter of time. I can't imagine Messi is going to keep this sort of form where, to be honest, he's only played 2 games. He's only played the Club Brugge, and then he played against, I can't remember the other team he played against. I think it was Reims or something like that. Those are only 2 games he's played. And then he played in the first 70 minutes against Lyon, and then he came off injured. So we'll see if he even plays tomorrow, because apparently he's been training, and we'll see if he's going to start. Maybe he won't. I doubt he's going to start. I think Pochettino's going to be smart enough not to risk the injury to make it even worse. But if he comes back, then my God, what a matchup we have here of Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe versus Man City. Oh my God. But it's going to be really interesting to see for this matchup, the midfield battle, because the midfield for Man City over the weekend against Chelsea, my God, that was glorious to watch, really, with Foden and De Bruyne and Rodri was so good in the game, I thought as well, just controlling that midfield. The Chelsea midfield couldn't do anything against Rodri. It was ridiculous. So when you play against, because Verratti is injured as well, Paredes, I don't rate him that much, even though I'm a big Argentina fan. I don't really rate him that much. Wijnaldum, yeah, he's good. He's going to be box-to-box kind of guy. Idrissa Gueye, he's okay. So if you're Man City and you're looking at that PSG midfield, you're going to run over that midfield all day. And then the front three are not going to press or defend. So it's basically you can do whatever you want then against the PSG defense, and it's weak at this point. So we're going to see, and especially for PSG, Hakimi, one of the best right backs in the world. I think people are going to realize this. He is one of the best right backs in the world. Yes, he can't defend, but attacking wise, he has already 4 goals this season for a right back. I think he's the top goal scorer for PSG, if I'm not mistaken. So, what a fantastic matchup. Hopefully, Messi plays. That's all I hope for.
Yeah, I think talking about top goal scorers, if I'm not wrong, I know Hakimi is there and Chelsea were going for him, but Taron, one of the players who's really come up, trumps this season has been Andre Herrera. Herrera was, in England previously. I know Manchester United fans still is what he's gone on record saying. So against Man City, he'll have something up his sleeve for sure, right? He's someone who's scoring as well, and that midfield, I think Michael touched upon. They can kind of defend as well. They definitely have a personnel this season with Wijnaldum, with Herrera in there. Do you reckon they can stop Man City?
Yeah, I think Ander Herrera, for me, it's another Ole shocker, in my opinion, for getting rid of Herrera. I never saw him as a player who never fit the system. He was always great against Chelsea, and I thought he's a really consistent player. He played with the heart on his badge all the time. So, yeah, very, very. I mean, he did commit a few silly thousand handballs against Chelsea, back in the day. I think, Ankit, you'll probably remember the handball where he stopped the counter-attack against, was it the Sarri days or Conte? But yeah, something like that. But yeah, I mean, Herrera is kind of an underrated kind of star in this PSG team right now. He's got in there with a few goals this season. He's a great box-to-box player. And when, Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi are kind of struggling with the chemistry a little bit, I think Herrera is always reliable. He can get an assist, he can get a goal, and he can always come up with trumps times. But yeah, I still think that the spine in this PSG team is not great. Wijnaldum has had a really poor start to his PSG kind of career, and understandably, moving from Liverpool, it's always going to take time to adapt to a new league, even though it's a little bit easier. But Wijnaldum's not had a great start to the season. Idrissa Gueye, I think he's a decent player, but not someone who I think should be starting for one of the Champions League kind of favourites. And Herrera for me is definitely up there with their best midfielders, but still for me, like Michael said, Leandro Paredes, he's an okay player, but never for me is up there with one of the best in Europe, in my opinion. So yes, the attack is great for PSG. The defence now with Hakimi in there is amazing, but that midfield spine for me is so key in the Champions League winning team. You need a great midfield spine to control possession, to keep the ball, to win physical battles, to break out of possession, break out of press, high press on another team. We saw it so many times with Jorginho and Kante and Kovac last season, how many times they released the pressure for us. And I think that midfield could really cost PSG this season. It's similar to Man United. They brought Sancho in, they brought Ronaldo in, they brought all these other players, but they need a number 6 in that team to really control everything and be the anchor. And I just think PSG like that. But yeah, like you said, and Herrera is definitely, for me, one of their best midfielders. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, bringing in Donny van der Beek, barely even playing him, get rid of Herrera. That doesn't make sense to me, in my opinion.
Yes, that's true. It'll certainly be an interesting battle for sure. Again, not really great watching Man City after beating Chelsea, but it is a great game on paper. We have to give Man City that, and of course PSG, the kind of players they have.